So, this is now finished. So, multiple coats of the rust remover, and just a lot of flap disc and sanding and all that. This is all prepped. So some of it is down to bare metal, and then some of it is just down to the primer, or just cleaned up, you know. Also sprayed inside of there, as you can see. So I went in there with a wire wheel, got as much as I could, and then just sprayed and covered everything that I could see. So yeah, as you can see, all this is clean, and there's not a speck of rust anywhere anymore, which is really nice. This was luckily all clean, so all I have to do now is just prep all it. And the inside of this, I'm not going to touch just yet, not until Alex is done welding it and reinforcing it. So that gets left alone for now. But everything else I can prime and paint. So that's what I'm going to be doing now, and I'll see you once it's all painted. So this is all primed as of now. As you can see, it looks all nice and uniform, so now we can give it a coat of black. I moved as much out of the way as possible so I wouldn't paint it white, but anyways, you're not going to see any of this. And like the brake line, we're probably going to replace that. The fuel lines, I'm redoing fuel lines completely from the tank back, so that's fine as well. And as I mentioned before, I'm not touching this spot. So everything's primed over here, and it's 2 coats of primer. So this is all nice. I'm just waiting for the primer to dry now before I give it the black coat. And then moving over to the other side is... Moving over to the other side, this is all prepped to an extent. All that's left now is for me to hit it with the rust remover or the rust dissolver, and then wipe it down after 20 minutes, and then this one's also ready to be primed. So I think that's all I'm going to do for today, and call it a night. Alright, so my ears are ringing a little bit because I'm grinding down the welds over here. That's coming along slowly but surely. I've only gotten the top done really, and then this junction, which I'm gonna Bondo over this anyway, so it'll be fine. But this is gonna take a while because we just kept stacking welds and then just pushing it all up until, because there was a big gap over here, maybe like a ½ inch gap. But yeah, so that's gonna take a while. But this is all painted. Currently only 1 coat, and it's drying, and since it's cold in the shop, I'm probably gonna have to do the second coat tomorrow, but it's alright because I have plenty of other stuff to do. So that's painted, 1 coat. Next thing, I'm gonna just do the tops of these, and just gonna go fully all the way down, and just give it all 1 primer coat, and then tomorrow I'll get a black paint coat, and then same thing over here. That's almost ready, and then this metal pipe is blocking off the fuel lines that I have over there. So yeah, it's slowly moving along, but it's moving along, and that's what matters. And once I grind down the welds, I'll probably paint this side as well. I just don't want any of the dirt getting into the paint, because it happened here. Doesn't look the prettiest, but it should be fine. Yeah, I mean, once I give it a second coat, it'll be nice. Alright, so I have all of this primer now, except this spot right here. This I don't want to worry about yet because we'll have to do reinforcements. This is all ground down and ready now for Bondo. This is primered. This I did just a light coat of the actual brush on primer, so that's why it looks streaky. I'm gonna obviously sand that down and then hit it with regular primer, because everything that's gonna be visible in the engine bay, that needs to be as smooth as possible, and that's exactly what this is. This feels nice and looks smooth. Once again, same exact routine. I just sanded everything down to where there's no rust left, and then I hit it with the rust remover from Rust-Oleum, and then I prep all everything, and then finally hit it with primer. I'm not going to paint anything yet because obviously everything else still needs to be primered. This is all curing, and while all this is happening, I am painting just little pieces like the windshield wiper motor, which we have right here with the bracket, and the motor itself. So I hit this with some bare black, and then this with some silver, and now I just hit them with clear coat. And then the master cylinder, which I hit this with a Chrysler PXR, so it has some nice little rainbow metallic flake to it. And then hit clear coat over that. And then finally on the slider, I have drying the actual master cylinder itself. And that's also just has a coat of clear coat on it because it is aluminum, so it doesn't rust. But I did want to throw some gloss onto it, so that's why the clear coat's on there. And then obviously I painted the little handle black, which first time it's going to be used is going to come right off because it's not powder coat, but it is what it is. I've been over here degreasing the steering rack and the subframe, and if you remember what it looked like before, it was filthy, full of grease. And this is not my first rodeo when it comes to degreasing stuff. But it is my first time doing it in an enclosed space like this without access to a pressure washer. So my best friend was my Makita drill with a wire wheel attachment, some degreaser obviously. I use Purple Power. Pretty much anything works. And then most importantly, which I forgot where I put it, but it was just a regular brush. I went and bought this set for like $6 at Ollie's, $10. So, you know, pretty good. But that, just to get into the tight crevices, just degrease everything and you just wipe away everything with microfiber rags. So now that all this is degreased and I can finally get to it, I'm gonna paint this black, and then I'm just gonna give all the lines some clear coat, because they will rust. Obviously they're steel lines. This part doesn't need any sort of paint because it's just not steel. I tried it with a magnet, so it'll be fine. But this part, I'll give it some black paint, and then I'm gonna give the entire subframe some black paint, and then once that's done, I'm just gonna hit it with some clear coat and on these lines, just make sure these lines don't rust, and that'll be that for the subframe. And then we can just start moving back towards the end of the car with, you know, rust repair and stuff like that. So the whole subframe and this part of the steering rack is all coated in black, 2 coats, so it should be enough to withstand, I don't know, at least 10 years. I plan on keeping this car for longer, but yeah, so everything's touched up, everything's done. And for now, under the hood. But now here comes the most dreaded part, and that's going underneath the car. I really don't feel like doing that. Good thing we bought a creeper at least, but gotta go underneath the car and just do the same exact thing. Alright, so it has been some time since I last recorded. Don't mind the paint, I was just testing out the actual color. On camera it looks a little bit different than it does in real life. It is a lot more coppery in real life. On camera it kind of looks gold slash rose goldish. It's not that color, but the color does look nice, but disregarding the color, since the last time I picked up the camera, Alex has welded in the radiator support, which is right down here. So that was just, you know, tack a plate onto here, then fully weld the plate on, and then just make this U-beam all the way across, and that was it. So yeah, so that's done. I undercoated the whole entirety of the car, just with primer. I have to go back over it with the black paint. Or actually, I might have gotten a lot of it with black paint as well. No, as you can see, it's all just white down the whole trans tunnel, so everything is primered. While I was at school, Alex removed the diff, so the 7.5 is out. And yesterday, I took off the brake lines. Then realized that the brake lines are different because, you know, the sizes are different of the actual diffs. The track width is a little bit bigger on the 8.8, at least from, I think, what I know. So, anyways, I ran new brake lines for the diff. As you can see, that's all hooked up. Right here. Right here, here's a T that I used from the SVO one, and then it goes into there. So, brakes are good. I attached the upper control arms, lower control arms. I don't have to do them yet, but we're not putting the diff in just yet because Alex has to weld in the subframe connectors. So that will be next on his list of things to weld. I still have to order the handbrake cable so I can make this work with the old handbrake. And yeah, so currently what I'm working on in the engine bay is I'm shaving down all the welds that are going to be visible. So as you can see here, I cleaned this up as much as possible. Obviously Bondo is going to have to do the rest of the work. Same thing here. So I got this as flush as possible with the old metal as I could, and then Bondo will just take care of the rest. So I'm just grinding down that side. I'm going to leave the bottom alone, and then I'm going to have to do the same thing over here on this side, and then we can start finally masking everything off, taking off the struts and the top hats and everything, and giving it, you know, a nice little bath and degreaser and brake clean and all sorts of things before we spray primer and then finally give it its last color. And yeah, and as you can see, the diff got a little covered in primer and all that type of stuff, so I'm just gonna go back over it with a brush and then clean it up. And yeah, so obviously I'm not recording as much as I should be, but it is pretty boring stuff that we're doing. Nothing interesting, nothing, you know, visually appealing, so I just haven't picked up the camera. But yeah, if anything cool comes along the way, like the fact that I went and bought a radiator today. So it's a nice Fox radiator, and if you know the trick, it has a Volvo fan, and these Volvo fans are extremely quick and they cool things down very fast. So that is a Fox Body Guy trick. I've heard that from a few Fox Body people, so I went out to buy this. I only paid $100 for this too. So yeah, that's nice. Also, the yoke came in for the aluminum drive shaft. I'm just gonna give it a little parts update. So I have the yoke right here, so we can attach that to the aluminum drive shaft that's sitting in the corner, lonely over there. And yeah, so we're starting to piece everything together slowly, but there's still so much work to do, and most of the work is literally just painting old parts to make them look newer. Also, we got the engine mounted up on the engine stand. It's not hanging on the hoist anymore, so this will be a lot easier to service and go back over and refresh and make it look nice. So yeah, it's looking good. It's looking real good.
Alright, I'm impatient, paint's wet, but I drilled the holes out, put some paints just to make sure it doesn't rust in the future. So yeah, what we're going to do is we're going to take a riv nut.
Hold on, let me focus.
We're going to use a riv nut. This is just a basic kit I bought on Amazon. I forget how much it was. Probably more expensive nowadays, inflation. But simply, we drill the hole, we put the riv nut in. You want to probably look at it this way. Yeah. So, and then all I do is I just squeeze it, and then I can tighten it again, squeeze it again. How deep is that now? And yeah, we can take it out. And beautiful, we have a perfect riv nut. I got them bolted in, and then I just threw some polyurethane over it, just to make sure it'll increase the thickness a little bit, so then when you bolt it, it kind of sandwiches the radiator in, so also keep it from vibrating and having the bolts like hit the aluminum. This is what Honda guys do to make their motor mounts harder. They'll just put like urethane in the motor mounts, so we're basically doing some Honda trickery, but for the radiator.
You're the night sky, trying to make me see your stars. The dark gets lonely. Now I see violet, I can feel silence. In the dark's all that I see. And your stars have burnt out, and your heart makes no sound. I'll find violet in your eyes. You'll always be my night sky. You'll always be my night sky. You're the night sky, hiding behind dark gray clouds. I can't figure you out now. I see all blue. There is so much cold in you, and the silence is so loud when you go. I just stay dancing.
Quick update. This is dry now after we painted it. We've reattached the brake booster. The rack joint is reattached. The steering column is now intact once again. Brake booster master cylinder is attached. Everything's attached over there, and I reattached the whole steering column on the interior. And our main goal today was just to get the underside painted, and we got that accomplished. So let me just get the light, and as you can see, it is all uniform black down here. So yeah, it looks good. That's just on the exhaust. It'll burn off just because it's not high temp paint. So that's all finished. Alright, so that's pretty much it for this video. In the next video, we're going to try to take the engine apart as much as we can, repaint it, fully refresh it, and then get it right back in the car. So see you then.